Let's ideate. Everyone's favorite format. What can you build that would split your life into before and after? I'll share, right on my screen as usual, the very best ideas I've found over the past month. Almost everything we're going to look at today are companies with a market cap of over $1 billion. You realize that's already a pretty rare thing. If a company worth over $1 billion is still operating in 3 or 4 different markets, that's already strong proof that it's probably a soap business model. Soap is something that works everywhere. Soap works in South Africa, the Philippines, everywhere. Boom. Queens is the best company. I have a friend, Fabrice, who has 1,500 investments. I asked him, Fabrice, if you could pick just one company, which one would you choose? He said it would be Queens. It's the most profitable, fastest growing, craziest company in my portfolio. So, what does Queens do? Again, it's fashion. Again, it's clothing. Why do we need this company? Quite luxury. The trend is that young people, now even middle-aged, no longer need to have Louis Vuitton written in huge letters. They don't like to show off their wealth. They want good materials. They want something truly exceptional. And that's why this company, Queens, says, let's get rid of everything unnecessary and keep only what's important. Only quality materials. The very best that's available. Affordable luxury. Bestsellers? Yeah, let's take a look. Well, everything here is around $50, right? Obviously, this isn't AliExpress, where you get junk. This is cashmere, or a pillow made from some kind of super silk. In the new world, it turns out that the mass market buys everything for $2 or $3 on AliExpress, but wealthy people are just regular people who want something good. Shop at Queens. Low design costs, just basic items made from good materials straight from the factories. So, usually there's a 7-fold difference, a 7 or 8 times markup from the factory to retail. Here's Mongolian cashmere. You need to go to Mongolia, find a cashmere producer right there. Basic designs, basic items, pack them up, and ship them across the border. The only problem with this business model is that it's a bit capital intensive, right? Because you still have to prepay for production, for a certain batch, and only then do they ship it. But here you can keep it minimal, like Shine does. Shine, always has new data. They release small batches in real time, constantly dropping new stuff, new, always something new. That's how a new brand is created. The brand has this idea that you don't need to write things like Hermes or LV on it. You just need to make it appealing and beautiful for young people who want good materials but don't want to show off. Let's take a look at YouTube. Well, for some reason, all sorts of bloggers are posting about this, right? Like $60 instead of $2,000. The exact same sweater that costs $2,000 from some brand, you can get for $60. That's a pretty solid argument. Especially, women are really pushing for this. They're all about it. Let's move on to step 2. This business model will work especially well in markets where there aren't high cross-border tariffs, where you can send a lot of packages duty-free and without VAT. It's going to be a really good business model. Write in the comments what you like, what additional arguments you know, and we'll give away an Oskar Hartmann unicorn sticker for your phone to the top 10 best comments. Let's keep going. Purple Marketplace is exclusively for beauty. Why, in a world full of general marketplaces, do we need a separate one just for beauty? Let's take a look at how profitable this company is. Their revenue grew, their expenses also increased, but less than the revenue did. And here they have a loss of 124 crore. So that's a minus. It turns out to be a loss of 17 or 18% of their revenue. But apparently, for India, that's not so bad. Right? So, pretty quickly we found out what their expenses are, right? There are employees, the cost of the cosmetics themselves, and you can see how much they spend on advertising. It's clear they have huge advertising expenses. Let's take a look at their revenue level. 700 crore in dollars. $80 million. That's nothing. But apparently, it's valued at 10 times its revenue, even though it's unprofitable. Well, that's the kind of marketplace it is. Maybe someone wants to give it a try. There are a lot of companies that have tried this, and they didn't succeed. I reject this business model. Let's move on. Codeway. What kind of company is this? It turns ideas into apps. When there's a big revolution like artificial intelligence, sometimes entrepreneurs, especially serial entrepreneurs, can't decide what to build. This company said, AI is a big revolution. We're making a bunch of apps, and we don't know what will work, so we're going to test everything. And they've made a lot of money. You see, 50 million downloads, they've made a lot of money. When OpenAI already existed but ChatGPT was still unknown, everyone started searching for what artificial intelligence was and began typing artificial intelligence into their phones, looking for where this chat was. And instead of finding the OpenAI chat, they found this chat, which was simply connected to OpenAI. But they were the first, they were the quickest, they made it and caught the traffic. They obviously know how to catch traffic. So now they have 300 million chats. They got 50 million subscribers who pay, like, $20 a month for what they think is an AI chat. People saw it as an AI chat. Now everyone understands what to download, but for 2 years, they were catching traffic and monetizing it. Geniuses. I heard they made over $100 million in profit by doing nothing. But now, with that money, they're developing new applications. Take Retake, for example, photo editing. They made quick filters, fast AI processing. They also got 17 million downloads. It's just that kind of moment in time, the fastest ones win. When these big changes happen, it's boldness that wins. If you wait until everything is clear, well, you won't do anything. They really did a great job. What else did they do? An English language tutor. It's all clear already. 15 million downloads, that's awesome. So, learn English, talk to it. It tells you, do you have an accent or not, how well you speak, how understandable you are, what improvements you get. That's it. The most patient teacher in history, and the most interesting thing, where did this company grow up? In Turkey. A unicorn. This company is now valued at over $1 billion. I wouldn't predict a big future for them unless they find some really cool, specific application that will be long-term, because right now, they're all already doing this themselves, and most problems can be solved right in the chat, but they're already making money. It's simple. This company isn't about raising money, they just make a profit. I'm really curious now, who's the founder of this company? Emil Shimshak, who are you? A young guy, just recently graduated from university in 2017. Good for him, he must be the quickest one, apparently, the quickest one. The education trend, the company Maya. We learn all our lives. An average person changes their main mission, their passion, 2 or 3 times. Just because you decided to become a lawyer at 20 doesn't mean you have to be a lawyer at 85. And so, the company Maya has focused on the third part of life. So, the second part is your career, where you become someone, maybe someone else, and then you move on to the final stage of your life. This is a very important transition, because you know the scary statistics. After retirement, the average life expectancy is very short. People mostly stop being active and die quickly. And now, people are almost as afraid of retirement as they are of death. And they bring together these people who are starting to think about the final stage of their lives, uniting them into groups, workshops, retreats. Just this picture alone is enough for me. I'm already ready to do this. This is the education of the future, in my opinion. The universities of the future are communities that are created, that go through a certain journey, and make these transitions beautifully. There they teach you how to write a book, how to make music. Of course, it's mostly creative work, creativity. They have campuses, for example in Mexico, in America. But why isn't there one in Kazakhstan, in Uzbekistan? It's a problem everywhere, everywhere. All my friends are thinking about their parents right now. Everyone writes to me, Oskar, what do I do? I want to help my mom. She's lost. She doesn't know what to do with the last 30 years of her life. Maybe it won't be the most profitable business in history. But the world needs this, our parents need this, it needs to be done everywhere. It's a mega trend. Here's the founder. The target audience is people from 40 to 70 years old. We are creating retreats and centers, campuses where we help people aged 40 to 70 make the transition to a new life. The next company is Soskalb. You all know how many fraudulent schemes there are with banks. This company has solved that problem. Partially, by 1%. In Brazil, it's a Brazilian company. Brazil is actually very similar to our region in terms of income, problems, and the number of scammers. Sometimes when someone falls victim to a scam, they don't even know what to do. They take care of everything for you right away, quickly. In 3 minutes, you filed a report about what happened. They know all the scam schemes. They know, oh, my Telegram account was stolen. What should I do? Knock, knock, knock. That's it. And they get to work right away. They know exactly which form to submit, how to recover your account, everything. Everything is integrated and done quickly, and you just chat with them. Awesome! This is a big problem, and it definitely needs to be solved. So, if anyone feels strongly about this and wants to solve the problem, please take a look. I would put this as step 2. I would take a closer look at where their turnover comes from, how much they earn. I suspect this is quite a profitable company. Cool, really cool. The fastest growing company in Africa. What more do you need? What information? The fastest growing company. A company with 65 brands, 140,000 retailers use it, millions of SKUs, an omni-retail ecosystem. Omni-retail means omni-channel, present in all channels. Importers, manufacturers, distributors, logistics, and retail, all of this is brought together into one network. Essentially, it's a smart system that enables trading. It predicts future demand, spots trends, optimizes pricing, streamlines logistics, manages inventory, and handles payments. So, in the end, how does it make money? Just as I thought, it provides the financial infrastructure. Once this entire trading chain is fully digitized, once everything is visible and predictable, then it can all be financed. Because the main question, both in Africa and in almost every country in the world, is how to finance the flow of goods. B2B companies like these are often not visible. So, for step 2, I would definitely look at what exactly they offer for free, how they provide financing, and how it all works. I'm definitely going to keep studying this further. Who wants to join me? Here's another company from Africa, Kunda. It's also a liquidity solution through collaboration. They have 6 million clients and have issued 1 billion. Most likely, it's an integrated platform that connects with retailers and other players. With one click, they do scoring and quickly provide loans for small businesses and consumers. Of course, in countries with a highly developed banking sector, this would basically be difficult. I personally wouldn't try it, honestly. But in countries where the credit system and banking system work very poorly, this is a good solution. Blip is one of those companies. There are dozens like it now that helps manage customer interactions through chats, through all chats, how to automate it, how to manage it, how to work with all chats at once, how to have a centralized view of the customer and communicate with them across multiple channels. I also have an investment like this in Southeast Asia, and we're number 1 there. And this is what's called conversational commerce. That's when something is sold through a conversation. Not just in one click or whatever, you actually need some kind of conversation. As I understand it, in Russia, the number 1 player in this segment is AMO CRM, but there are other countries where this doesn't exist yet. Blip specifically grew in Brazil. You have a single program where everything is integrated, no matter where the client writes from, and they're an official WhatsApp partner. Here, you need to take a closer look at what they do better than others. See what the product looks like, try it out. They found some kind of trick or feature, because they became really big in Brazil. I really believe in this conversational commerce. I think it's the future, and of course, AI is the key here. Here, of course, whoever gets there first will probably create a very strong barrier to entry for newcomers, once there's already an established player. The next company, which is very interesting, is Zefold. I want to become a client of this company. Look, they take you up into space, into the stratosphere, on a balloon. You just make a balloon, and this balloon lifts a capsule up to an altitude of 36 kilometers. All the children in the world dream of going to space. Going to space on a rocket is expensive, but flying into the stratosphere and seeing the Earth, just like from space, on a balloon is dozens of times cheaper. You can actually book it. Let's try it right now. Here's what the capsule looks like. 6 guests ride together in one capsule at the same time. For 6 hours, you take off, celebrate, space, it's awesome. You spend 1.5 hours in the stratosphere, and then you land back down. I think people are willing to pay for this. Each flight brings in $500,000 in revenue. You could make $100 million in revenue per year. How do we make it so that people don't die? That's probably the hardest part. The last time I wanted to go to space, they just told me that the last dummy they sent up still hasn't been found. That held me back. But this is for the passionate ones, for those who love space. I'm going to send this to my friend right now. I have a friend who loves space. Finally, there's toilet paper by subscription. It's an Australian company. For $24 to $40, they deliver it to you every month. You know, there's a big consumer trend creating consumer products. Like razors, for example, which were later sold for $1 billion. But they do like $30 to $40 million in turnover just on toilet paper. And everything else, kitchen napkins, anything paper related. Well, it's a pretty good marketing move. We only love toilet paper. They're building a brand, of course, it's a brand. If you're not building a brand, then it's not interesting. 1 or 2 million in profit. Not bad. That's actually really good, because I thought a low average check would be a problem, but they're making it profitable. Good for them. Of course, that's for the developed world, where people are willing to pay a lot for this paper to make sure it's comfortable. Let's move on to step 2. AppsFlyer is an analytics company. It helps companies with apps in gaming, shopping, and finance find insights about their customers. Sometimes it's really hard, especially on iOS, to get the data you need. And that's what they do like Google Analytics, but for mobile. I think, most likely, this will be a global player here. I don't really see much point in having local champions in this space. Let's keep going. Ambus is a German company. They've made some kind of huge breakthrough, a unicorn in education and healthcare in Germany. Millions of people need to be trained to prepare for exams. All thanks to the platform. Great company. But, you know, it's very specialized. There are actually a lot of unicorns in the field of preparing for GMAT and other standardized tests, and in medicine there are also a lot of standardized tests that everyone has to take to prove their qualifications. And you need a platform that prepares people. That makes it more engaging. Quickly, right? So, you definitely need to put this on step 2. Mercer is honestly one of the best companies out there, in my opinion, for the coming times. The trend is that there are fewer and fewer people capable of working, and the power of the job seeker is growing more and more. 100 people are looking for a job, and 100 companies are looking for an employee. You have to conduct 10,000 interviews for someone to finally make a choice. These interviews are done very poorly, then they don't respond, they forget. It distracts people. And so Mercer said, why do all this? Why, if you can go through one super-duper real interview, with all the tests, your values, and then you'll only be shown companies that truly fit you. The company gets a fully digitized profile of the person, so they can see what the candidate is really capable of. The company can also specify its own requirements there, so that Mercer checks them right away, for example, if the company is a good fit. And then you get the candidates. There's already a video interview, questions, answers, everything is clear. Your values are there, your BTI, your Hogan results. And if a person knows that this one interview goes to 50 companies, they're willing to spend 3 hours on it. But if they have to spend 3 hours for every company, and just deal with this hell with HR staff, well, it's a great company, what can I say? Alright, guys, that's all for today. These are all invisible companies. You'll never see them on the street. You'll never spot them on a tourist route. You can only see them on Let's ID, in your favorite format with Oskar. And now, since I want more interaction with you, I'm just sitting here alone, it's boring. I've created a chat with Oskar where we'll break down all the business models in the world, look at megatrends, everything that's coming, everything that's changing, and even more importantly, what isn't changing. You can actually make money faster on what doesn't change than on what does. I'm really going to count on our collective brain. We need a lot of hands, a lot of brains, because everyone is different, everyone sees things a little differently. But together, we can think more accurately, be in the flow of information that gives us the foundation for actions that will change your life. Don't rest until everyone has a new business model. Thank you so much, guys. Bro, fist bump.